You're watching and listening to the Real Anime Podcast. My name is Mohnish. I am joined today with my co host Lewis. We're both filmmakers and we enjoy talking about movies. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about a favorite and a film that we've recently just been rewatching, a Korean film called Parasite, which many will know as the amazing film made by Bong Joon Ho. Now, Louis, you mentioned in class that you will be watching this in class, or you've already watched this in class for your subjects. So, just from rewatching it for class, what can you tell us? What was your experience?
Well, good afternoon, good morning, good evening to everyone. Hope you're all well. And welcome back. And yes, Monish, to answer your question, when when I was watching it for class, it was probably my first, I would say my first time, because maybe I watched it bits and pieces of it before, but I don't remember, even though it's 5 years ago, but whatever.
Yeah, but,
But
but this is the first time you watched it, like
first,
fully,
like Kao Kao.
okay.
When I watched it at first, I was just like, oh yo, like what I mean by that, like when I watched the story, when I was listening to it, I was just like, sorry, watching and listening. I was just like amazed, really, because like the attention to to detail of how each shot was planned, how the narrative, yet the narrative structure, the story, yet simple but yet effective. It managed to capture everyone's, not say imagination, but it's something everyone can relate to. Doesn't mean that just because you're not from Korea doesn't mean that you can relate to it. But when I watched it at first, I was amazed by its visuals. That was like the first thing which caught my eye, the cinematography. But then when you rewatch it again, like I forgot to say, I did watch it. I probably have watched it again a second time to watch it for the film theory analysis of it. And I must say, there's a lot of hidden semiotics behind the film, I would say. But now I know why it was voted for Best Picture for the Oscars and many other awards, which I think we're going to be here until next year. Just
I,
naming it
I I
out.
mean, I have to say though, with Bong Joon Ho winning Best Director, right? I think it's the first Best Director that I've seen in my lifetime that I felt was truly deserved, because I think like he understands his film on such a great level, and I think that film has so much subtext, but like just the understanding to shift between genres like that and just move through that. I think that really shows the skill of a director in general. So I had a lot of questions initially when I watched it, but like Bong Joon-ho, I think we can safely say is a brilliant director, and I cannot wait for his new film, which is called Mickey 7. It's not yet out though, so it's a sci-fi film. And so back to Parasite though, like what was something that to you, Lewis, stood out as like sort of, oh, I like this about Parasite? Because it's not like a typically commercial film to watch. It's not something everyone watched, but I suppose to us it felt like everyone was watching it because our surroundings is like really like a cinephile and filmmakers and all that. But maybe to the general public, I don't think that many people were watching it at the time. And then after the Oscars, of course, the hype came in. But what was your thing like when you watched the film and you were like watching it and you were like, oh, I actually love this part about this film?
I guess that what caught my eye is basically like how you have a poor family who is trying to work for like, they're trying to be rich and stuff like that, and they have a genius plan on basically going to this person's house and basically, I don't mean it literally, but taking each member of the house out one by one, not killing, but like replacing them and then giving them like some excuses saying that this and that, which I thought was genius, really.
Like just to add on to that, it's probably the most Asian thing in the world.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
I am my brother lah. This fool I cannot. I'm like,
that is so
but yeah,
true.
you were saying.
It's so true because like you said, it's the most Asian thing ever. I help you, you help me, and it's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
so
yeah.
amazing. Like how like when you give some, if it's just like when you're a young kid, you give you let a kid go to a candy shop, like a sweetie shop, candy shop, and they're just gonna enjoy themselves, really. Whereas in this example, you give poor people, like, I wouldn't, yeah, I'll class them as poor people, the lower class people, just to be not, just to be
I mean, they definitely are poor. I mean, like
poor.
the way they're living
Yeah,
is like
yeah, yeah.
it's pretty,
It's true, it's
you
true.
know.
But
Yeah, especially when you compare it to like the Park family where they're super rich
oh
with
yeah,
those big
yeah, yeah,
houses and
which
stuff.
I was gonna
Like
get
actually,
to.
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna get to that because the minute you give the Kim family, they went inside the Park house. They literally enjoyed themselves. It's like a 5-star hotel for them because they had whiskey. They had like
You know,
bottles of whiskeys everywhere and everything to them. Go on.
I remember watching this with my dad. I actually convinced him to watch it with me, and he ended up watching it, and he was like, I remember that particular scene where the Kim family, they basically already at this point, they're all working in the household of the Park family. You know, the mom's working as the house cleaner, the daughter's working
Yeah,
as the tuition
yeah,
teacher, all that stuff, right? Like at that point, this is already happening, and then when the scene that Louis just talked about happens, they all start drinking the whiskey, eating the food, enjoying the living room and whatever. I remember my dad's face. He was kind of pissed off at that because he feels like, damn, these guys are really, taking advantage of this house. But then he kind of later on changes his mind when he sees how the Park family sort of treats the Kim family. So it feels a bit like social justice at some point. But I think like that sort of whirlwind of emotion that Bong Joon Ho can just initiate when he makes a scene, and how that one scene affects other scenes so well. I think it's just like, again, I keep saying it, but I can't get tired of it because it's like he really is a really really great director, and I think that part in the film also is a really great way of highlighting how social inequality exists not just in Korea but everywhere. You know,
yeah.
but
I
actually,
agree.
Louis, I don't know if you remember this part of the film. The the dad from the Park family. Sorry, no, the son, the kid, the kid who kept drawing. Da Song, I think is his
Yeah,
name.
yeah. The
Yeah, yeah,
young boy, I remember.
yeah. Do you notice this element where he smells the clothes of the Kim family, and he remarks and he tells his parents they all smell the same. Do you?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
certainly remember that. I remember that.
yeah. That aspect to me was amazing. That's a point of detail using dialogue and a sense that and the audience cannot have. Like the audience cannot smell your film, but he sort of like brought that element into it and was like, oh, these guys all use the like all smell the same. So as the audience, we sort of made the connection that, oh, they probably use the same detergent or same perfume or something lah. Like that's why they all smell the same. And then what happens right after that is the Kim family decides to wash their clothes differently or something around that thing. I remember that correctly. So it's like that kind of detail was such an interesting point to make because I feel like that was a subtext for like how the super rich 1%ers sort of unwillingly or willingly teach their children how to sort of like identify someone who's from a different social class than
Yeah.
them. Yeah, like it's something that I just, to this day, I still think there's an amazing detail in that film. Like, do you have any specific parts about the the way the actors performed that you liked? Any acting performances you enjoyed?
Breaking news, I think my dog just took another shit. But yeah, nevertheless,
Wonderful.
she's just lying down there. Okay, nevertheless, one thing which I picked up on is I think you must have picked up on it too. Do you see the contrast of the Kim and the Park family? The Park family, they're staying on the elevated ground, and the Kim family, they're staying below ground and stuff like that. And then you
Yeah,
see,
they're kind of underground, almost underground.
yeah,
Like you can see,
almost
like you
borderline.
can kind of see like a
Yeah,
bit of, yeah,
one thing which I must give credit to Bong Joon Ho is basically like showing, not telling, show but
yeah,
tell, which I really like because if you realize when watching the film, you see a lot of scenes where there's a lot of stair scenes. There are a lot of stair scenes in there, right? For example, like the bit.
I think there's a lot of stairs, a lot of slopes,
Correct, correct,
like a
and
lot of uneven ground lah.
yeah, so he really puts an emphasis on these stairs to show like how if you want to be on top of the world or you want to be rich, these are the steps you have to take. Here you go. So
Yeah,
that's one thing I really like.
I feel like that's also like sort of a metaphor in that way, but also shows the literal ladder or steps you have to climb to up the social ladder lah.
Correct.
The social equality ladder, because like it literally shows that these people are living on a different level, and it keeps repeating again and again. Like I think it was the mom who was the Park family's mom. You remember the scene in Parasite where there's a giant rainstorm and stuff?
Yeah, I was just
Uh,
gonna touch on that actually.
yeah, and the rainstorm was like super like heavy and stuff. Like actually, kind of like how it is right now for us in Malaysia. but
Only in Kajang, only in Kajang.
but like the scene that was so impressive to me was that, because I think like that scene was so like the rain was coming down, and the Kim family was like, oh shit, we gotta save ourselves or something, because they literally live underground, they could drown. But what did the Park
They
family
were
say
happy.
the day after? They're like, oh, thank God for all that rain, cleared everything out or whatever. I was like, holy shit. Like that part to me was like, wow. Like in just dialogue, right? Just a couple lines of dialogue, the guy just ran through an entire social equality chapter in a textbook. I mean, like, and literally, it's a show not tell, which I think you'll agree with me on this. Like, it's a lesson as filmmakers we have to keep repeating to ourselves, and we have to keep learning that kind
Yeah,
of
which
thing,
is
right? So
reference which I was gonna pick up on that. It was a bloody genius to show that, like, yeah, these lot, they stay underground, and who knows, it could be flooding at any time, at any moment, and all them all their stuff in their house will be washed away if they don't take care of it. Whereas with the rich family, I forgot, the Parks, right? The
yeah,
Park family, they are happy because now that if I remember correctly, I think it was raining when the son was camping outside their
yeah,
garden, as something like that,
something like that. Yeah.
something like that. And then I remember the day after, they was gonna have like a big part. I don't know what party it was.
It was. I think the son's birthday party or the
Correct.
daughter's birthday party,
One
something like that.
is one of the. I think it was the
Yeah.
daughter's party, if I'm not mistaken. Because remember,
Uh, yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
another plot twist. The daughter liked the son. Remember?
Oh yeah, the Park family's daughter, like
Yeah,
The Kim family's son. Right.
yeah.
Okay.
Which I was gonna say,
Yeah,
the
but
rain scene
yeah.
has a good reference to Diary of the Hungry Man, of the Grab
Uh,
driver in the rain.
this is one of those things. This is why I think like sometimes Luis is just better at promotion than I am. We are talking about Parasite, and somehow he manages to find a way to promote our film, Diary of a Hungry Man. But yeah, I mean, look, you guys interested? Go and watch it, lah. But it's on our YouTube channel. But back to Parasite, I think that also we have to talk about the way that Bong Joon Ho puts the Kim and Park family on like those levels, and then he suddenly shows us in the Park family's house. There's another level even lower than the Kim family, which is the housekeeper's husband who's been living downstairs. And like I swear, that was one of those twists, right? Where I immediately was like, "Damn it, lah! This guy is just way too good." I started getting annoyed because as a filmmaker, you want to like really absorb this, when you're watching it. And I was just like, I thought, oh, okay, I get where he's going, I get what he's doing. And it's not to say I didn't expect him to produce another twist, but I just wish, like, when I see that kind of thing, I was just like, damn it, I should have seen that earlier.
Yeah,
Like,
I get what you mean.
yeah, like, yeah. And and the clues were there, like the housekeeper, even after she got fired, or after the Kim family kind of faked that she had an illness or something, and they fired her, and the Park family fired her, she still kept coming back to that house. Which, if she had nothing left in that house, why would she show back, right? So I never really got to that. I was just like thinking, I was kind of so wrapped up in the other stuff. Then when this twist happens, I was like, bloody hell, you know? Yeah. What about what about the genres, Luis? Did you enjoy how that film just moved through genres like dark humor, thriller, drama? Like,
Yeah,
what was your favorite genre that you saw in the film? Obviously, we can't call Parasite a single genre, but there's so many genres in that film that it moves through.
I
Like, you have anything you
yeah,
particularly like?
I certainly love the dark element, the dark comedy side of it. Really, I really like how it's complemented the other genres so well. You could say maybe it's like more like a thriller, bit of drama, maybe like all these dark comedy. They really helped complement the film to what it is now, because I think that's one thing about the director's style. He finds ways of combining like all these dark elements into his films. Like his first film, which I heard about, I forgot. It's not. I know it's something dogs. I thought Reservoir
Oh,
Dogs.
no, no,
No, no,
that
no,
one
no, no,
is
no, that's a different. I know that. So I was like, why Reservoir Dogs? So my
that's
dog could be
Quentin
named
Tarantino. I think the film you're talking about is Barking Dogs Never Bite.
Barking Dogs, because I think my dog is
Yeah,
barking
but
right now.
yeah, I mean, if for those listening and watching, I think if you haven't seen that film, you should give it a watch, because I think like it's so interesting to see a film that Bong Joon Ho himself has said don't watch, because he himself he's a little embarrassed about the film. I'm not entirely sure why, because I thought it was a pretty cool film. When I mean, if you like dark humor, you've got that kind of element there, and he did a great job with it. But I guess every director's got their own
Yeah,
feelings on
I
their own films.
mean, I think I feel the same like him sometimes when I direct my own film. I'll just like, hey, the what
Yeah,
if
but the
buts and
difference,
maybes comes out.
I feel like maybe that's just something we gotta live with, lah. But
We just gotta live with it and move on with life. That's it.
yeah, I mean, Bong Joon Ho certainly moved on. I mean, the guy, he's gone from making Barking Dogs Never Bite to Parasite, and now he's directing Robert Pattinson and I believe Mark Ruffalo in Mickey 7, his next sci-fi film.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So like, I think like, what about the food in Parasite? That was another great clue.
Food,
Okay, now
food, food.
so there's this dish that they made called the ramdon, which is like this ramen, like Korean ramen, and it's been cut up with sort of expensive beef, you know.
Yeah, I
So
remember.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I don't know like if I'm reading this wrong lah. This probably is me alone. I just kind of enjoy looking at this because of all the parallels in the film at this point. I don't think I'd be, it'd be wrong to say, because Korean ramen is not exactly a luxury item, but the beef that they cut into it and they cut it into cubes and put in there is a luxury item.
For
And
sure.
this became, yeah, yeah. And sort of like mixing it together and like having this dish. And actually, fun fact, when the social media craze took over, the ramdon became this sort of social media trending food. And I know a lot of people made it and stuff. I actually made it myself also, and it was not as good as it looked in the movie, nowhere close. But I can see the appeal lah. But I probably wouldn't do it again. But if you look at it, if you look at that, even the food reflects the themes of the movie, which I was just like, holy shit. And um, also like for a Korean film, I think that I'm not well. I mean, obviously, I'm not Korean, so I don't understand the dialogue as a native. You know what I mean? Like if I'm watching an English film, I understand the dialogue as a native, so I know people don't speak like that or people do speak like that. But as a Korean, they probably would have seen the same thing. But for me, I would not have had the same sense that they do. So I only had the subtitles to rely upon. And for what I can tell, right, the dialogue was really sharply written, and it really fits the an international audience. I would say, like, I
Yeah,
mean,
you
it
can say
really,
that.
yeah. Like, I don't know if I don't think he wrote it for an international audience, but I feel like the dialogue is just so understandably
Simple.
thematic of the film. Yeah, yeah, it's simple but well delivered, and well written. Like the dialogue we mentioned earlier about the rain and everything, he did that in just a couple of lines. Like like that was amazing. Um,
Yeah.
was there any moments in the film, Louis, that you think shocked you? That what was your shock, like your moment where you're like, holy shit?
Oh, when there wasn't
There's
a
probably
when.
there's probably a few lah, but what was your holy shit
Oh, I
moment?
think I think every the entire film was a holy shit moment.
I
But
mean, well,
but like I would say the bit where I discovered where we find out that the husband is hiding underground, and then the minute he gets out of there, oh boom,
right, right.
all shit breaks loose. I'm not gonna spoil it for everyone, but that's all I'm gonna say. That moment itself shows that like how long you've been downstairs, and you
No food,
just
no water,
no
nothing.
food, no water, no anything, or no sense of what's going on around the world. You don't even know who is who's president or whatnot right now. But it just shows that like how sometimes like as a person now, this is going to be philosophical, Lewis speaking now. When you've been so down for so long, you don't know, you don't get any opportunities given to you, and then you feel like you feel like you're worthless to the world, and you don't know what to do.
One
That's
second,
why.
let me write that down.
And that's the reason why everyone should be given equal rights, no matter who you are, and no matter where you're from.
We're supposed to be talking about Parasite. This fucker, this one, we're supposed to be talking about Parasite. This fella is running for office now. Hey, I'm like, you want my vote? You got it, lah. But like, I'm like Parasite now.
But I mean, like, but then again, it does shows like how in the society we live in, when you've been trapped down for so long that you don't know what's it like, you feel like you're not given any. It just feels weird, I guess you could say, and that kind of shocked me. Just like, when you're given like a sense of freedom or a sense of opportunity, you're willing to grasp upon it. Whether it's taken the right way or wrong way, that's another story. But that's one thing I kind of liked, and it was kind of like highlighted nicely. Yeah. No more philosophy.
Louis Knight for president of the United.
Hey, United of Kajang.
That one, you good luck, lah. Honestly, I just want free satay. That's it.
No problem. I'll give you the rabbit one.
Yeah, I've never had rabbit. Never mind.
We do a food podcast another day.
Oh, that's an idea right there. I would say though, I'm actually really happy that a film like Parasite is gonna that is something you're learning about in class, because I mean, after you watched it and everything, what was the general reaction in class? Like, do you think your classmates or yourself have seen a movie that changed anything, or what was your initial reaction?
I can't speak on behalf of my class, because
yourself then.
But because I know myself better than anyone else. But after watching this film, I would say that I'm sure there might be other films such as like social equality and stuff like that, and like touching upon race, and maybe like, well, less on race, sorry, but more on like the social class and stuff like that. Another film that comes into my mind would probably be Invictus. Now we could save that for another day. It takes place.
Yeah, let's save that for another podcast.
We save that for another podcast.
Yeah, we can do hours on that film. But yeah, I think also like the general messaging of the social inequality must have been quite strong over there, no?
Yeah, I do agree. It was very, very strong.
I think you don't need to be Korean to understand that, to be honest. I think it's a universal theme, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, okay, now this one is one I wanted to end off with. What was your, like, as a filmmaker, what was your specific, what did you take away from that film? Like, I'll start first. I'll start first because, like, personally, I got a lot of thoughts on this, but I've pretty much disseminated most of them, lah. Like, for me, I took it as a real lesson to, like, understand your subtext and sort of build on that, because every film that I've seen that has subtext and it all works, yes. But this guy like took subtext and gave that subtext. I was like, I'm like, just makes you want to slap something. Like, it's just that good. Like, he gave the food. He gave the food got meaning. The dialogue had real meaning, and also I think above all, of course, the locations. That all we've talked about. But like, I think this film, personally, as a filmmaker myself, I learned so much from just watching and understanding the story, but also understanding how he phrased it. Like, think of it as a picture, but I'm focusing on the frame. Louis, over to you.
I'm seeing it right there. Diary of a Hungry Man poster right there in my room. Sorry.
Again, I tell you, if anyone listening should hire him as a marketing manager. I'm telling you now.
Okay. Yeah, I would say that in terms of a subtext and semiotics point of view, I learned quite a lot, I would say. And I guess the message is, to me, it shows that, like, I don't know, these are the problems which are happening around the world. And I would say, thanks to this film, with the recognitions it was getting in the past and the wars and yada yada yada, it's a good way to be able to send out a message to the entire world to say that these are some of the problems which are happening, but sometimes we are forgetting about these problems. And I'll say that you don't need like over the top visuals, over the top this and that, this and that. Don't need over the top CGI. This is a good example on how to do a film, which I would say is probably 10 out of 10. The message was clear. The visuals were bonus, were good. And also there were so many hidden meanings that the more you watch it, the more you pick up on, which I kind of like about that film, because at the end of the day, when you watch a film, sometimes you don't want to you don't want to be like, oh, watch the film and then don't watch it again because you're just like, whatever, I don't want to see it again. You want to watch a film and then you watch it again, you watch it again, you watch it again. Then you'll be able to, because you're eager to know what actually happened in the story. And that's how I feel about Parasite, which, and stay tuned for Lewis Talking Film #1. I'm going to be doing a Parasite review soon, so stay tuned for that. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Thank you all for watching and listening. We really hope you do enjoy this episode, and we will see you on the next one. We're currently attending the Japanese Film Festival in Kuala Lumpur, where we have just actually, this is probably a little exclusive lah, but okay lah, we've just actually watched Akira on the big screen. So ironically, we might be returning for Akira again, but we'll this time bring along a special guest. Stay tuned to find out, and I hope you guys have really good time watching Parasite. Recommend it to your friends if they haven't seen it, which to be honest, it would be quite amazing if they haven't.
And I agree.
But yeah. Till the next one, guys. Take care.